BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. So yesterday was a bit of a cool day, wasn't it really? Brand new all-time high, XRP pumping up to the resistance, coming back down to what could be a support now anyway, just for those who want to pick it up, if there's anyone who's ever interested in, I suppose. Never FOMO, it's just the whole point of a green candle is just never to FOMO. If we are going to come down, it would be earlier spot, it's going to be this 66, 67 cents, and possibly even a retest of this the 10 exponential moving average, 64 to 65. If you're lucky, we come down to 61 again, which is not out of the realms of possibility. I can actually imagine that, to be honest, if Bitcoin was to pull back. But it might not pull back. So let's have a think about Bitcoin on this daily. Bearish divergence, just like before, new all-time high. So just continuing with that pattern of bearish divergence on the daily. On the 4-hourly, same pattern, bearish divergence on the 4-hourly. Hourly, let's have a look at the hourly. Wow, that's a real drop-off there of the money flow index. That's not necessarily a bearish thing, but it is a drop-off with a rounded top, so it might be looking to retest some of the lows. We could even be seeing like $68,000 again on this one. You think that's mad? It's really not mad at all. That is not mad at all in the slightest. A measured move of that size would be 6%. So yeah, I mean, look, the higher we go, the more likely it is that we do have these big pullbacks. And again, the last big one that we had was this one over here. And again, when you look at it on the chart, it doesn't look that big at all, but it really was 14, almost 15% from wick to wick. And then it just carried on through. I think that's what I was saying to one of the trolls on the channel. They're saying, and I was saying, no, we might be looking at another pullback of around 20%. I think I was saying another 15 to 20% on Bitcoin. And one of the trolls couldn't believe his ears. He says, "No, do you think that there would be ETFs if they're going to pull back by 20%? What are you talking about? They would never create an ETF if that was the case." And I was like, oh my God. This guy lives on another planet. How does he get the Wi-Fi to watch the videos? So, yeah, basically, Bitcoin's going to keep going up until it goes down. But the bearish divergence on the daily and the 4-hourly suggest that a pullback is going to happen at some point, and it is probably just a buy the dip, to sell the rip. Now, one thing that I was showing yesterday is this clean spark, and we actually closed down 16.5%. on the same day that Bitcoin created a new all-time high. It's not the sort of thing you'd ever expect, really. But this seems to be how it's running. This is volatile. You could treat it like, an altcoin, really. It emphasizes Bitcoin's upside and downside. Obviously, you zoom out, you get a bigger picture. Horrendous. But it has been pretty sweet to trade it. We traded all the way up here and sold here, didn't do with the latter part. So, like I say, it's just an anecdotal evidence. Doesn't mean anything. I haven't really quite worked out why this might be happening or why it happened before, but we did have several red candles leading into the 15th, the 5th, which is where Bitcoin had its sort of big down day. So we were clean spark was red, and Bitcoin was basically red, green, red. So, I don't want to put too much weight on it, but, with the bearish divergence and with something like this, you do have to think, okay, what does it mean? And if it doesn't mean anything, so be it, but it would be silly to ignore it. Right. Dixie, still pushing down, still wanted to go down. There's no supports below us at this stage. We did get a bit of a wick at this level, but there really is no supports on this daily. Take it to the weekly. The only weekly support is the 200 simple exponential moving average, which is sitting just around 101, really. So look, I think it's destined to make its way down there eventually. Probably over the next, we'll just call it over this month or so. Fresh death cross on the 4-hourly. So it does look like that's its destination. It's going to head down to those levels. And look, I hate all this bearishness. I hate the sounding bearishness. It's not being. I am not bearish. It's caution. It's about making sure that you aren't losing any money and making sure that you're getting profits. Making gains. That's the whole point of trading. You got to make sure that you take the gains and avoid the losses. And historically, we did see a big bounce around here. And we did see a bounce around here, so it would be silly to not imagine another bounce around here. There's an uptrending trend line after a golden cross, pretty much significant support. So a bounce for the Dixie is probably on the cards, and it might mark the peak of the markets. And again, I'm saying might. It doesn't have to. I'm just saying might. Look at S&P pre-market. Well, who would have thought it? We're continuing to move up again. Up again. I am amazed at the strength of stocks. I'm amazed at the strength of crypto. I enjoy this strength across the board. I'm loving it. To be fair, I am absolutely loving it. But I can't help but get a little bit skeptical about how high all of this is going to be able to go. We've got an overheated read here in the money flow index on the weekly. We've seen this in the past. Big overheated read. Last time we saw sort of things like this, we did lead into big pullbacks. Again, that might not look like a big pullback to you, but it is a big pullback. Where is it? And again, this isn't the end of the world. That's not the end of the world. It's a 12.5% drop on the S&P given to us by overheated reads and a bearish divergence. Boosh. It's not the end of the world. Did lead into a deeper dip, where and again, it's not the end of the world. This is generally an up only. This was a 21% move after the overheated reads, a drop, and the bearish divergence, and the continuation of a drop, and then getting picked up. 200 exponential moving average, which currently sits down here at 4,000. Which, in hindsight, if you go back and bought 4,000, you'd be very happy with it, and it would still be a higher low if we did come down to those levels. I'm not saying that we're gonna. I'm just, trading isn't about being absolutely spot on all the time. That's a 21% move if it was to do it. What is that? Yeah, it would be a bit chaotic in the markets, but what else is it? Repeat after me. It is a buying opportunity. So these things happen, and they will happen again some point soon. We're getting the telltale signs that something like that can happen. Not that it will, but it can happen. So it's not me just saying, I think this is going to happen because I woke up one day and thought that, and thank you everybody, good night. No, I'm saying it because we're seeing certain things that remind us of when the last time that did actually happen. But until then, let's keep our eyes on the short-term small, I suppose, what are we going to call it? The Coke traders charts, sniffing and shivering into the screens on the short-term time frames. For me, that would be a 1 hourly. Still looks good. I mean, we're getting a bit of a rounded top, but if we do pull back into the upper 60s, it's probably just going to get bought straight back up, isn't it, really? Halving is obviously around the corner. It's about a month away now, and that's that idea, I suppose, is keeping the market propped up. CPI as well, which I think is going to be coming through hotter than expected. The only reason I say that is because oil has been slowly and steadily moving up. It doesn't look like it on the weekly here, but trust me, it has been moving up slowly and steadily, which should have some impact on the CPI. But each to their own. Whatever you decide to do is your call. It does appear that the markets are so bullish that people are unwilling to miss out, and it's going to take an event, if anything, to pull the whole thing down. Eventually things will find a natural top, and the evidence is that what we're seeing is, with the bearish divergence, that a pullback will come and probably just get bought back up for, obviously, everything. I don't see any reason for it to really change into a bear market, not based on just those simple drives of bearish divergence, but pullbacks on stocks at some point that might take a month or two to complete, which I suppose you can call a correction of 20% tops, 20 to 21% absolute top target for that pullback. Yeah, there's evidence for that, but at what point is it going to happen? It's very hard to say. When you're looking at setups and signals on a weekly, you just have to basically be patient for it. It's going to be very difficult to enter into 100x short based on bearish divergence on a weekly. That's a recipe for disaster. But it is there on traditional markets, but it's not there on Bitcoin. So interesting stuff. Right, hopefully there's some value to that. There is a live stream tonight if you want to join that. And that's on the Patreon. We do this twice a week, so we're doing one tonight. So you can come and ask me whatever it is you want to ask me. There are some altcoins that I have been looking at overnight that it's not that they're secrets, it's just I don't have time to do it now. I've got to go do a school run now. Breakfast, school run, you know the drill. But I'll present them on the Patreon if you're interested this evening. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day and take it easy.